Hey guys, good afternoon. So I can't really see this screen, so I'm just going to do the best I can with it. There's a glare in the sun here in Albuquerque is crazy. Anyway, it is my midday for Thursday, September 27th, and I just wanted to touch base with you guys. A couple different topics I definitely want to touch on for you all, and kind of share my plans for the rest of the day, so you know, and go from there. Anyway, so as I talk to you, I'm sitting outside of McDonald's here in the eastern part of Albuquerque. I'm gonna grab a little bit of lunch, and I got a lot of little things to do today before I'm blessed to meet with George and Stephanie. Stephanie, am I getting it wrong? My mind is fried. Sorry, guys. Anyway, they're kind enough to put me up tonight. Their daughter, Kelly, is a teacher at Bermudian Springs School back in Pennsylvania, not far from where I live. And it's really cool that I wanted to share this with you, that not only did they reach out to me and share something with me not too long ago, but we just did about a 30-minute FaceTime, and I really feel privileged and honored that the kids wanted to do that and did it with me. They asked a bunch of questions and I was able to answer them. I don't know if it's recordable and we'll be able to post it or not. And I gave them a couple of assignments as well. The one assignment came to me this morning, just so you know. I wonder, why is it I always have room for milk chocolate? I could eat and be stuffed and not be able to eat another bite of meat or potato or whatever, but I could eat a chocolate bar. And the way I describe it is, if you have a glass jar filled with sand that's full, right? But yet if you pour water into it, the water fits. So I think that's part of it. But it came to me this morning while I was having a Kit Kat for breakfast, just so you know. So that was one of the two questions I asked. And the other one I asked has to do with McDonald's, and that's, how could anything be made healthy when you can buy it for $1? And unfortunately, I've been living on McDonald's, and it started to make me realize how much America lives on fast food because of the convenience and, frankly, the cheapness of it. I'm here because I can get two burgers for $5 and be full for the whole day, and then we wonder why our society is obese, right? Anyway, so those were a couple of questions I asked the class. But one of the neat things they asked me is if I would come to the class and talk to them when I'm done. And frankly, I hope I get that opportunity. I would love to do that. And that's going to play a little bit into my conversation later tonight with the folks I asked on the phone call. How are you, sir? No, I might need a bike, man. I just got offered to buy a bike. I think he was serious, though. Maybe I'll get across the country on a bicycle. No, I can't. This bag is too heavy to pull. Never do it. How much? 40 bucks? Brother, I don't have 40 on me, but I'd love to take it. It's a hot looking bike. I should show you the bike. It probably is hot. Anyway, so here I am rolling up, and got offered a bike for 40 bucks. I'd probably drive it a quarter mile and get arrested for driving stolen property. Anyway, I digress. So it was really, really cool. And I'm sorry, Mrs. Reider, in your class, I shouldn't be talking about hot bicycles and stuff when I'm trying to talk about, you guys give respect. So anyway, I'm hoping to speak to a lot of schools, a lot of communities, a lot of chambers of commerce. I think this is how we're going to spread the message and continue to point the thumb and not make it about a 4-month journey, but about a 20-year-long commitment, and that we change the world a little bit. That's my hope, right? On that note, guys, I'm in Albuquerque. I gave up myself on trying to contact newspapers and news organizations to spread the word, but I'm going to be traveling. We don't really have 2 big cities left from here. Flagstaff is of size, and I'll be there, and then I'm going to end in LA 4 weeks from tomorrow. So, if you guys want to help, and you believe in the cause, and you believe in pointing a thumb, the more people that do some kind of, media blitz to radio stations, talk shows, newspapers, whatever it might be. I can tell you the LA Times covered my story on July 16th, I believe. They just picked up off the AP wire the story when I left back in York that Mike Argento had written. So certainly they at least know about it back then. I'm sure it was just filler for them on a Monday, but they did use it. And I will be finishing the night before I finish. I'm going to stop in the Ben Maller show on Fox Sports Radio and spend at least some time with Ben and the guys, Coop and Eddie Garcia and Roberto. And I haven't met Roberto. I haven't met any of them yet, but Roberto was new. He joined on after Danny G left. But I'm looking forward to that. Very cool group of guys. I kind of feel like they're family. I've been listening to them on radio for several years now, and they're just a good group of guys, funny as hell. So I will be on Fox Sports Radio that night, so if you want to let people know, and I've been on a few clips, you can reach out and find out about those clips. I don't know if the other one ever got posted to the website. It was September 20th, I think, that I got a bit on there. I was in Missouri, or no, I was in Oklahoma then. Anyway, so that's one thing I wanted to talk about. The second thing I wanted to talk about is something that is of more substance, to be honest with you. And I want to call it out again, because I don't think we, as a country, do enough of it. And I want to call out, this is just me, I'm just a guy, I'm no doctor of anything, although I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. No, I really didn't, I can't afford a Holiday Inn Express, but that's part of the commercial. So, anyway, I got a message from a friend, and I've got lots of friends that I've had before this, and lots of friends that I've met on the journey. I use the term friend to be very dear to me. Not everybody has been in my life every minute of the day. Sometimes people are friends from way back, and I don't talk to all that often. And this is one of those guys. He lives in New York, and I live far away, but we always were friends. Just life takes over, and you kind of drift apart. But since the journey, he checks in with me every so often. Hey, where are you at today? And I kind of tell him, and I check in with him. But here's one of the things I check in with him about. He's going through a lot. He's got cancer affecting his immediate family, so that's a lot to bear. And I think he's always had something of a personality that's kind of prone to depression, and that's what I kind of want to talk about. So the positive, first of all, he called me up and he said some really wonderful things about me as a person. And we used to play ball back in the day, and he's always said nice things about me as a ball player, and I really appreciate him and him for that. But I asked how he was doing, and this is what I thought was really great. Was his answer was, "I'm struggling. I'm depressed a lot, and then I'm battling." And what I was so, I wish I could put my arms around him and just take it away, but I'm smart enough to realize I'm not very smart, but I'm smart enough to realize I can't do that. What I found so telling about him telling me that is I'm hoping he's going to be okay when all is said and done, and here's why. Because he didn't hide behind it, he didn't deflect, he didn't deny. Depression, nobody signs up for depression the same way nobody signs up for any other disease. And as I've said, I've been talking about mental illness quite a bit on this trip. The old me, the younger me, couldn't understand mental illness, and it was a matter of, all you got to do is just snap out of it. Well, as I've grown and matured, I realized, do you not think if these people could snap out of it, they would? And I realized that there's things in there from a chemical, and some people just are wired different, just the way it is. But I think the first step in having people understand the disease, understand individuals better, is by owning it. I think for so long there was a stigma. Back in the day, what was it, Zoloft, or what was the drug back in the day? Prozac? And it was almost like a running joke, like to somebody that was having a bad moment that wasn't mentally ill, go take some Prozac and relax, all right? And it was just dismissed, and I can speak firsthand that I probably said those words out of my mouth. I have a totally different perspective on it now. But I think back then, because of comments like the one I said, excuse me, anyway, why would somebody want that? I just don't get that. How is it appealing to anybody? I don't know. Anyway, again, I digress. Sorry, it goes my ADD. I'm sure you guys heard that. Anyway, mental illness has come a long way in terms of society being less judgmental about it. I'm sure there's still judgment, and it's not as stigmatized as it used to be. And I think that's part of the beauty of what he shared with me by owning it. He said it to me without any fear of being judged. And so many people are afraid of being judged about anything they do in life, in particular if you suffer from something. But my word to you guys out there is that, if you suffer from it, most of us understand it's not something you're choosing to suffer from. It's not something you asked for. It's not something that you, put a cigarette in your mouth and develop lung cancer, and then someone can say, well, didn't you know? So own it, guys. When you can let people know around you that you're depressed, it helps us help you. It helps us understand better. It helps us not to say the wrong things. So like any affliction of any kind, point the thumb, for me, means owning who you are. And if owning who you are means that you've got something that's bothering you, something that you're proud of, good, bad, or indifferent, share it, guys. Don't be afraid to be who you are. I talk about my kids a lot, and one of the greatest lessons I've learned myself, and my kids have learned from their sister Grace, is this young lady is so comfortable in her skin and so in tune with who she is that she's an amazing young lady. And I've learned from her, and I hope my little ones learn from her as well, that just embrace who you are, man. There's no reason to pretend. There's no reason to put a facade out for the world and pretend, because eventually you start believing that facade, and that's what happens. So to my buddy who I spoke to this morning, we're gonna get through this together. When I get back home, we'll get together, I promise you. You know, I appreciate you owning it and admitting it to me, not because you deserve a pat on the back and it's an achievement, but simply because it helps me understand you better, and it helps me to be able to try and help if I can. So to all of those of you out there that are, if you're suffering, if you know somebody who's suffering, if you think you know somebody who's suffering, encourage them just to embrace that it's what it is. No one asked for it. Nobody did something to deserve it. It's just the way it is. Denying it and saying, I got this, I'm okay, and putting it off is no different than the alcoholic that doesn't realize they have a problem. It's no different than the obese person that doesn't want to, take care of their body physically. Whatever it might be, treat mental illness as you would any other disease, guys. Be respectful of it. If you're fortunate not to have it or have it affect your life in any way, embrace that. Be thankful. If you want a real eye-opener, I met somebody back in Missouri, her and her husband, whose son suffered, and on one hand could be completely functional, and on the other hand had this demon just eating away at him. And hearing their perspective, so powerful to me, so strong. And I urge all of you, if you're parents, go onto a website that deals with bipolar or mental disorders, and don't necessarily even focus on the disease or the person, but just as how it affects those around you. And let your children know that even though they may not have it, somebody they know may, and look out for those signs and look to help them if you can. So I'm not trying to be preachy, guys. I'm just trying to be real. A friend of mine who I care about is struggling, man, and I don't know the right words, I don't know the right answer, and I don't know that there is one. All I could do is try to be there and help, but I really appreciate him for being able to look in the mirror and point the thumb and go, no, man, I'm not doing well. I'm depressed terribly, I'm struggling, and let me know, because now I can try to help. Maybe all it is an extra text a day or an extra phone call to say, hey, how you making out today? Maybe it's a joke. Maybe it's not even acknowledging them. Maybe it's just, hey, here's something that happened to me today, and let them disappear for a few minutes in my problems or my life, my goodness, whatever it might be. So a couple of heavy things today. A really great opportunity to speak with Mrs. Reider's class. I welcome it. I hope I wasn't obnoxious or ignorant in any way. Certainly don't think I was, but you never know how people perceive you. To some out here on the journey, I'm the biggest farce since I don't know what, and to others I'm almost spiritual. So there's a whole spectrum of broad range as to what I represent in my message to people. So I love you all. Thanks for following me here at Grace Landon. I love you guys. I'll see you later on. I'll see you in 4 weeks. But I'll talk to you later on. I'm safe for the night. I'm going to be meeting a wonderful family this evening. I'm hoping to be meeting someone tomorrow that was referred to me for breakfast, and then I'll be on my way with Gallup, New Mexico as my target date towards the end of the week. So thanks for following. I love you guys. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.